All right, good evening, everyone. I will call to order this September 22nd, 2022 meeting of the Temecula Public Traffic Safety Commission. We will start with a flag salute by Commissioner Maddox.
All right, please rise and join me in saying,
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And roll call, please.
Commissioner Ackerman,
Here.
Carter,
Here.
Maddox,
here.
Richardson,
Here.
and Sullivan is absent.
All right, I understand we have a public comment on a non-agenda item, so we will start with that. And I don't need to read the statement, but the rules are here. I believe you have 3 minutes and may come.
Mr. Castillo, if you want to come up to the podium.
Good evening.
Hey, Commission. I live in Vail Ranch. I definitely, my street, it's Camino Piedra Rojo. It is definitely being used as a cut through, and it's getting worse and worse and worse every year. I know I've kind of worked with Eric and Anissa going on a couple of emails going back and forth, and I've been told that maybe the speed bumps definitely out of question. I can see that for emergency services and stuff like that. But I think at this point, like a stop sign would be what the community wants. I got a petition going around. I've started that, and I didn't know how to word the petition, so I put it as we want the stop sign because that's what everybody's kind of wanting there, or something. If we could, I remember Commissioner Richardson a couple of months ago when I remember a stop sign got approved, and you said something when I was watching that on YouTube. You said something that kind of like really struck out to me. It's that the stop sign would not alleviate the problem, but it would kind of cause enough of a hindrance for the type of driver that is taking these routes to where they would go somewhere else. And that is the ultimate goal. If I could, I would gladly invite anybody over. I'll grill up some burgers. I'll get some brews. We'll set up some chairs. We can. It is actually, especially between the hours of 3:30 all the way into the night now, and it starts early in the morning too. It's a sight to see the speeds that these people are starting to pick up, and it's getting scary. I got neighbors that are nobody even likes to walk their dogs or run anymore because it's nuts. So I please advice anything that we can do, but like I said, that stop sign kind of thing, like if we could just get them annoyed enough with that side, and we're willing to work with, and I think the community is willing to work with, we know we're going to have some backlog, that stop sign is going to cause stuff to back up for a little bit, and I think we're okay with that, because it is kind of a blind spot, and hopefully somebody can come out and look. It is kind of a blind spot when you'll see, because it's right next to the school, that it's a hill, and us pulling out, when we pull out, they're ramming us with horns and going around us, and it's crazy. So anything you guys can do. I know you guys are up to your ears and everything, so let me know. Like I said, we'll grill up some steaks, and everybody's welcome, everybody. So
Very good. We appreciate you coming and sharing that with us. I see staff taking notes, and I'm sure we'll have a look.
Yeah, and if I can remind the commission and the speaker,
Yes.
so we do have a neighborhood traffic calming program, so we can take this request and see if we have something in that program that would apply to this situation, and we'll bring this back to the commission at a future date.
perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that. And then again with the, if I could just get some guidance once I get all those signatures, because that petition is going around. Where to drop that off and how that all work.
That's you?
Yeah, if you want to
Keep working with Eric and.
Yeah, yes.
I got a quick question.
Yeah, what's up?
You started out with hamburgers when you went to steaks.
Yeah, we did pizza too.
Yeah, but where is your proposal for the stop sign? I'm familiar with the area, but
So, yeah, so it's Camino Piedra Rojo, and then it's called Avenida Bicicleta, and Vale Ranch Middle School is right
Right.
there. So you got Vale Ranch Middle School, then there's the turnout, and it's a hill, and then that's right where they pick up steam. And that's right where, so off of the Vale Ranch Parkway, when they're making a left, that's right where they pick up steam. It's right on my corner. There's a corner house there, and then there's my house, and it's right there, and we could just hear them just
So,
steaming
right
through.
before you get to the school, if you're going towards Morgan Hill.
Right, if you're going towards the school, it's right
That
there.
intersection right there.
And then if you're coming around the school, coming down, that's where most of the people pick up their steam, is down that hill right in front of the school. And they're just jamming through. So it's Vale Ranch, it's Camino Piedra Rojo, and Avenida Bicicleta in Vale Ranch.
Okay, so it's further up, it's past, it's up the little hill towards Morgan Hill.
Right, so
When they come- okay.
on Temecula Parkway, you're gonna make a right on Butterfield.
Yes.
Going east, and then you're gonna go.
Okay.
Go.
Just wanted clarification, thank you.
Yeah, cool.
Very good, thank you.
Good? Okay, cool. Thank you, guys. See ya.
Appreciate it.
Doing a great job.
All right, we will move on to consent calendar. We have one item, approve action minutes of August 25th, 2022.
I'll make a motion to move.
Motion Carter,
I'll second.
second Maddox, and roll call vote.
Commissioner Ackerman,
Aye.
Carter,
Aye.
Maddox,
Aye.
Richardson,
Aye,
and Sullivan is absent. Thank you.
very good. All right, we'll move on to business. Item number 2 is De Portola Road traffic calming.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Commissioners. This presentation is in regards to traffic calming for De Portola Road. As you may remember, this came up in our Traffic Commission meeting in May 26th, so the end of May. And at that meeting, we discussed a resident wanted us to consider implementing traffic calming measures to deal with excessive speeding on De Portola Road, specifically between Jedediah Smith and Margarita Road. At that time, he wanted speed bumps or something, and we couldn't do that. What we said during that meeting is we would monitor the situation, and we got police enforcement out there, and actually we got the sheriff's trailer too, which I witnessed out there recently. So we've done some review now, reviewed traffic counts and speed data, and we determined that speeds are generally in the posted speed limit within the 85th percentile. So we think we're good on that end, but we did notice there is some excessive speeding going on. With the data that we can pull up, we saw cars going in excess of 55. You know, they're few and far between, but they are going fairly fast. Those few, some of them went up to 60. So there's a little bit of an issue there. Due to that sporadic speeding, and the kind of the winding nature, and there's some vertical crests in this area, we think we should recommend installing V-calm signs at 2 different locations on De Portola Road. And we just want to install these signs to remind motorists of their speed limit. They may not recognize it as they're going downhill. And that's where we are proposing, we did an initial assessment. We think this is where we want to lay out the signs as shown on the screen. The first one is kind of going downhill towards that horse trail crossing. And then you can see the vertical crest in the middle right there. And then the other one is going to be before the hospital driveway. We think these are probably the best locations. It's kind of hard to place them because there's a lot of big trees out there, so we have to find some clearing spaces since they are powered by solar. So we're limited on locations, but we think this is a pretty good spots. And staff's recommendation for the commission too is to approve the installation of VCOM speed advisory signs on De Portola Road. And that concludes this presentation.
Any comments or questions from fellow commissioners?
I got one real quick. So I'm pretty familiar with this area. It's near where I live, and I drive it quite a bit. And I will say when the radar speed displays showed up, I did notice just from that we had a slowdown in traffic from what I'm used to there. So I believe that these signs are going to actually maintain that difference. I think that it's going to help solve this. I know originally the comment was for speed bumps, and we discussed why among other reasons that normally we don't go that route. It's not a good option, but I think that these signs are going to be a good happy medium on that. So thank you for the presentation.
Sure.
David?
Yeah, just, could you remind me what the city streetlight data program is that was mentioned in the report?
You just said it, streetlight data. Streetlight data.
Oh, okay. Is that the mobile GPS data, or is that something
No,
else?
yeah, Nick can give you a better description than me, but it's actually, it's kind of been referred to as big data, and it's basically locational devices, phones, GPS car systems that have location services, and there are vendors who actually, capture that data, massive amounts of that data, and then make that available. So we can use that to do, all we have to do is we have a subscription to that data, and we can, rather than having to go out and do speed surveys and counts, things like that, we can actually just compile that data and download it out of this system and get volume data on different segments of roads, speed data, things like that, without having to do the actual in-field surveys. So
Okay.
maybe Nick can give you even a better description.
You hit it right on the head. We got just a multitude of data we can get, and it's in a matter of minutes, as opposed to, having our field guys install a sign, which there may not be. We have a unit where we can do the same thing, but there may not be a street light, especially in this area. You can't mount it to anything, and this is just a much quicker and cheaper and solution for us.
Okay, well, great. That reminds me of some data we requested at the outset of the Move I-15 project, like way back in 2018. It seemed like,
Yeah, see, it's the same vendor that provide
okay.
the data for those studies that we subscribe to that database for this current year to help with the general plan update and things that require some traffic data that is just accessible through this database as opposed to having to do field work.
Okay.
So, and it's been, a very effective tool for us to use.
And it sounds like it's feasible for us to use this for, questions concerning local roadways now.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
And I really like the system that you guys got, and as we've discussed in previous meetings, you could perhaps even use it to show cut-through traffic versus who actually lives there, and actually get that data, because you can actually see cars exiting and confirm they're leaving, and that's a cut-through car, right?
We've actually used that on one of our presentations for Priest Lane. That was using that program, and it can tell us percentage of cars using it as a cut-through and things like that.
Yeah.
It's very helpful.
Really neat to be on, and now if I'm correct, you can't use it for the official speed surveys to set speed limits, but for basically all other uses, it's a great tool.
Correct.
Yeah, very good. So I just had one comment on this. I drive this fair amount, as does Commissioner Ackerman, and it seems to me a lot of places we've been narrowing the lane. Here, the lanes still seem really wide to me, and I wonder if next time we are painting there, if narrower would be better. But then I find myself saying, whenever we get one of these speed things, I go drive it not looking at my speedometer and then see how fast my comfort level was. And for me, I'm below 45 on this, and if someone's actually going 55, I don't know if repainting lines is going to slow those people down. So.
No, and I mean, with that data, we can tell what time of night. It's probably at night when no one's on the road, but
Okay.
we didn't dig into that much.
And they're not our ambulances going to the hospital.
Well,
And I kind of thought the exact same thing as you. Maybe we could narrow down the lanes, but they're
Yeah.
already at like 12 feet wide.
Are they? Okay.
And we have I think like a 5-foot shoulder right now for bikes. So it's already pretty tight.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think squeezing it down maybe a foot or so that we could gain would help, like you said.
Very good. Well, I like the report, and I like the locations of the signs you've selected, so we'll entertain a motion for this.
Motion to support the proposal.
Okay.
I'll second.
And we have a motion and a second, so we'll vote.
Commissioner Ackerman,
Aye.
Carter,
Aye.
Maddox,
Aye.
Richardson,
Aye.
and Sullivan is absent. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to agenda item number 3, Nez Road at Quiet Meadow Road / Chantel Court striping.
Yes, so this presentation is, as you mentioned, this is on the striping on Inez Road, specifically at Quiet Meadow Road. As you recall, during our last commission meeting in August, a gentleman came up and gave a public comment regarding his concerns with the new striping at this intersection of Inez and Quiet Meadow / Chantel Court. We took his complaint, we went out there, we looked at it, and what his proposal was to do, you can see at the bottom of the screen, he wanted to make it a two-way left turn lane. So when he exits out of Quiet Meadow, when he makes the left, he has a kind of a refuge lane to kind of wait out the traffic in order to go. In the design, what we did is we actually matched what was existing before we did the striping. So we really didn't change anything. The only thing that changed is we added that second northbound lane. And as you can see on the screen here is actually a picture we took. Not the best quality, but it's okay. We monitored conditions, we reviewed speed, volume, accident data. 85th percentile speeds are coming in with the posted 45 mile an hour speed limit. There's a very limited amount of volume coming out of Quiet Meadows. There's not too many homes on that side or on Chantel Court. There's been no accidents over the past 5 years. Also, this striping condition that we have is very similar to just about every street we have in the city. Even streets where we have 4 lanes, we have this kind of unprotected left turn with turn pockets in the middle as opposed to a two-way left turn lane. So for all these reasons, we did not see any operational or safety issue with keeping it as we have it. So we recommend that the striping configuration remains as is. But we also recommend that in the future, when we do finish the widening of Inez Road, we'll take another look at this to see if maybe it needs to change. Once we have 4 lanes, 2 northbound, 2 southbound, maybe it becomes a little bit more difficult. Maybe we can consider it at that point. So with that, staff's recommendation for the commission is to approve the recently completed striping at the intersection of Inez and Quiet Meadow Road / Chantel Court. That concludes this presentation.
Right. I guess I'll start on this. So the pictures you show, there's really good visibility.
Yeah.
Is this one of our places where during rush hour the traffic here is potentially blocking this intersection from a left turn?
You know, with the new striping, it still occasionally does back up that far. Before the striping, it really did back up that far, up to Santiago Signal. It's still the same kind of situation as before, so we've never heard of this complaint before that either. We would have considered it before that, but
Right.
this is the first we've ever heard of it as well.
Yeah, I don't believe the restriping caused
It did
the
not.
complaint there. It sounded like
It's always
been brewing for a while.
Exactly.
And I guess in the staff report, I read the detailed staff report. It mentioned, correct me if I'm wrong, but that you observed left turners and no one seemed to have a problem, or there were no close calls or
At
anything.
least the time when we went, I mean, we didn't go during rush hour,
Right.
which maybe we should probably check that out a little bit, but it's the same condition. I don't think it would have really
Okay.
changed. Also, the issue if we did back up that two-way left turn striping, it could potentially cause issues with Mountain View, where people suddenly think they can come in there and make a left turn from that. So we didn't have enough of a reason to make that change.
Yep, understood.
And that's where I agree with you. Once you put a two-way, people will get into it way earlier than they need to and just speed up to get down there. So I think what we have is sufficient for now.
Yeah, I think I agree. In my mind, making that just, where it can be either, you're going to create a conflict where someone's in a refuge lane, now someone wants to turn on one of these streets, and now what happens? So
Yep.
I think we're better off with what we have here. Comments, guys?
I'll just throw out there that as I was looking over this report and thinking about it leading up to this, I'll be honest, at first I thought, well, what's the harm in making that center refuge lane? But the more I thought about it, the more I agreed with everything you guys are saying, that you would have exactly like Commissioner Richardson said, the conflict that even though we don't get a lot of people turning onto Chantel there, if someone happens to be out in that refuge lane, they need to get in there, we have a potential for something there that we just can't do. I do agree that once the full lane or the full road gets widened, we should revisit it as good measure and see if it would make sense, but I support your decision here on this.
Just a question, would it be safe to assume that traffic volumes would be generally lower on Santiago, where Quiet Meadow intersects down there?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, so there is an alternate route out of the neighborhood that's perhaps less stressful during peak hours.
And he actually mentioned that when I believe he said he tells his wife, don't go out this way, go out through Santiago so you can hit the light at.
Yeah. Okay.
Very good. All right, so the request is that we approve maintaining the recently completed interim striping configuration.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, so Ackerman and Maddox will vote.
Commissioner Ackerman,
Aye.
Carter,
Aye.
Maddox,
Aye.
Richardson,
Aye.
and Sullivan is absent. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you for those reports. So we'll go to division reports. We have California Highway Patrol with us tonight. Good evening.
Hello, thank you, Commissioners. Lieutenant Antillon, Temecula CHP. So services provided, 24 child safety seat installations, 1 Start Smart presentation, 2 Age Well Drive Smart presentations for seniors 55 plus, 3 community outreach booths. So we've been pretty active in the community. Our enforcement activity, citations issued 664, total enforcement contacts 1,350. Special enforcement units, now these are kind of strike teams that go out and work in the 15 corridor, have really worked hard trying to slow people down. On August 18th, we had 96 citations issued, 1 impound, 8 verbal warnings to drivers, and we're looking forward to another one on September 29th, and I think those do have an impact. Driving under the influence arrests, our arrests were at 26 for this reporting period. 10 of those DUIs were out of traffic collisions. In terms of our traffic collisions, non-injury collisions were at 85, injury collisions 53, our total collisions at 138. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Questions?
What was your fatal count last year?
Last year, I think it was exactly what we have this year,
Same.
sir.
Thanks.
Very good. Thank you for the report, sir. We have no police or fire this evening, so we will go to traffic engineer's report.
All right, just a couple of things for you. One is to let you know that we did submit our HSIP Cycle 11 grant applications, as we had that on a previous agenda. So we applied for a total of about $4.2 million in HSIP grant funds. So we're crossing our fingers that we will be successful with those applications and be able to make some pretty significant improvements into our overall traffic signal and safety conditions throughout the city. A couple of events coming up. One, this Saturday, there is I believe it's a health and wellness fair in Town Square here, and there's an open streets event as part of that. So Main Street and part of Mercedes, I believe, is going to be closed to traffic and just be open for pedestrian, bicycle, and just non-vehicular use on those streets this Saturday. And then next Saturday, October 1st, is the grand opening for our San Gratuitous Creek pedestrian bike trail project that connects that San Gratuitous Creek over to Murrieta Creek, which then connects to Old Town and is a pretty significant part of the overall trail system in the city. So that project is wrapping up, and we're going to open it up next Saturday. And so I believe that event starts at 9 a.m. Saturday, and it's going to be held at the Park and Ride facility at Inez and Winchester. So if you can make it out to that, that'd be great. And then I did send you all an email this afternoon. The Community Services Department is looking for judges for their plein air art exhibit entrance. So they're, those will be judged and then awards given for those. And I believe it's, I don't recall the dates, but it's in the email. If you're interested in being a judge, if you can reply to that email, and then there's a range of dates that that you can sign up to come look at the work and then judge it. So, and that concludes my report.
Very good. I notice on the city app and the various websites, there's a lot of talk about the opening of the new bike trail connection, and there's concern with that the homeless have been in that area, but has HOT been out there to kind of help with that?
Yes, yeah, we've been keeping an eye on that, and really our belief is that once this gets open and really becomes activated and used, that activity will go down. So that's the hope.
Are there lights underneath the
Yes.
the crossing? So, and are they are they on all night, or are they motion activated? What?
I believe they're dusk to dawn. They're photocell controlled.
Very good. Okay, yeah, I'm looking, we've been waiting for that for a long time, so definitely looking forward to that on October 1st. Thank you. Commissioner reports, anyone? Commissioner Maddox.
Thank you. I've got a quick slide to share here about an upcoming event. It's going to be Saturday, October 22nd, the weekend before our next meeting. And it's a couple bicycle groups in the valley going to lead a farmer's market ride. So we're going to start out of Joseph Park in the northeast corner of town at the end of the Santa Gertrudis Creek Trail. Going to follow that trail around behind Chaparral High School, under the freeway at the new undercrossing there, and then make the connection to Murrieta Creek Regional Trail, and finally into Old Town on the Creek Walk that was opened earlier this year, and up Main Street to the Town Square Park where the farmers market is. So it should be a lot of fun. It's going to be a very safe and family-friendly ride. It's all paved, all separated from traffic, about 6 miles each way and less than 100 feet of elevation, which is pretty flat for Temecula. And I just want to welcome everyone in the community to come join us and celebrate all these new trails that the city has been building for us. That's it.
6 miles each way.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else? No? I guess I just had one question. Earlier this week, yesterday, perhaps there was a power outage in my neck of the woods, right at Butterfield and Rancho Cal. Any details on what that was? Was it a accident caused or just an Edison operation?
When was that? There have been a few power outages recently. And most of them have been maintenance type as opposed to any kind of like planned outage.
Okay.
Or they've got a what they call a power safety shutoff public safety power shutoff PSPS program now, where if there are projections for high winds and potential fire hazards, things like that they have a planned shutting off of power circuits, but they have not done any of those. Edison has not done any of those in our area this year. Okay. So I don't know what that.
I just noticed 2 fire engines were deployed initially, and so I thought it was the result of an accident. But just if you don't know, that's fine. Just thought you might. So that's the only thing I really had. I will say, Commissioner Maddox and I attended the last coffee with the mayor, and they did talk about fire safety was Mayor Ron's topic, and very informative and neat to hear all of the pre-planning that was effective, that when we had the fire and so I think the number was 700 animals had to be moved to safer place, that people were just ready to say go, and it all happened. So really impressive that all that's going on behind the scenes, and we don't see it, but it's there. So, and if you haven't been to a coffee with the mayor, they're good events to go learn a little more of the inside detail of what's going on around town. So that's all I had. With that, I will adjourn this meeting to our next meeting, which will be October 27th, 2022 at 6 PM right here. That's it.